I'm going to be pitting One Punch Man versus Dragon Ball again, but with a twist. The first Berserker villain known as Garou the Hero Hunter, more specifically, Cosmic Garou. He'll be going up against a Berserker extraterrestrial villain, Cooler, aka Frieza's brother. The two villains with ulterior motives will be going into a head-to-head matchup. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be only using the late Cosmic Garou, which has the best scaling because the lower forms of Garou are literally going to get annihilated. As for Cooler, well, I'll be using the movies Cooler's Revenge and Return of Cooler just to even things up. And I won't be using Cooler from Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Heroes, and other games because, well, we all know how unfair that is, and that will be overkill. So I'll only use Cooler from his original movie verse. And now with that out of the way, I'm sorry to tell you that this fight is not close at all. Firstly, I'll give a shout out to my two great friends, King of the Monsters and Christian Kemper for Garou scaling, as their YouTube channels and videos will be shown on screen and links in the description below. Before we go over this fight, roll the intro. The entry I'll be going over first is Cosmic Garou. As for the low to mid end, he easily scales to large planetary as he dents the Earth, and his gamma ray burst and a mini black hole, all being calced to those levels of power. He then goes through exponential growth, roughly estimated around 60 times as this gets him into the dwarf star level ranges. And this is consistent as he downscales off from Saitama's serious sneeze, which gets him into the star levels of attack potency. This is also consistent because Boros is said to be a planet and even can destroy stars in the guides, as Cosmic Garou easily stronger than Boros, so that's that. For his speed, he's easily FTL plus into possibly MFTL plus, as you can argue lower characters like Flashy Flash and others into the MFTL ranges. Though some would find those levels of speeds for the lower characters to be a bit overblown, as some argue that both Garou and Saitama couldn't comprehend the serious punch squared that sent them both packing to Jupiter's moon in a few seconds, as they both couldn't perceive that. But since you can argue that Garou's speed with his power has increased, let's just say that can sorta help him with his argument. Now let's mention the high-end scaling, which is the contentious feat of the infamous serious punch squared. That's right. The part where Garou and Saitama supposedly destroy all those stars gets into the solar system to a daring galaxy levels of attack potency. Even though others argue that this quote-unquote feat is inconsistent, as in the manga panels, Garou looked back at the same direction the punch squared fires, and there are numerous stars including the sun, according to the guy with cosmic knowledge of the universe himself. But just for the sake of the video, let's grant Garou his galaxy scaling so I don't try to anger One Punch Man fans in the comment section. And add insult to injury, he's gonna need this highest scaling he can get. As for Garou's higher speed side, well, Saitama and Garou were fighting on Isle as Isle itself was splitting apart, as my good friend Christian Kemper calculated this over 800,000 pixels, as this puts Garou level of speed into the 15 million times the speed of light. And this is being generous, and now it's time to get into our next contestant, Cooler. Before we get into this one scaling, I unfortunately must remind people that the Z movies are literally and blatantly canon to the Dragon Ball Z anime. More specifically, the Toei-verse. Despite the many claims and coping from other creators out there, Koyama himself, who is the creator of these movies, says so. And Akira Toriyama states that they're side stories to the anime, and nothing from this statement claims this to be quote-unquote non-canon whatsoever. And to those who argue that sometimes movies contradict each other, well, yes, they do contradict one another sometimes, but that does not justify them from being non-canon to the anime at all. It's simply bad writing and plot-induced stupidity, and you would just be committing a nirvana fallacy. Just because the plot isn't appealing to the casual audience does not mean that it doesn't make the movies non-canon. You're just trying to cope at this point, which is completely pathetic. So with all that out of the way, Cooler will be relative and even stronger than all forms of Frieza, as in Frieza's first form, as he blew up Planet Vegeta with one finger while holding back, is well into the large star ranges. And that's just his first form, while possibly the implication of holding back. Frieza can be scaled much higher as he destroyed Planet Namek while in his final form. But keep in mind, he was only using 50% of his power, as this gets into the multi-solar system levels of AP, and this feat can get even higher for the high end as the explosion encompasses a chunk of a galaxy. And some people will reasonably argue that this is all for dramatic effect, but they seem to forgot something. Statements. Several statements in fact confirming that Frieza's death ball scattered an explosion across the galaxy, so this is already useful information. And if we even dare use the multipliers, we'll confirm stuff that's already confirmed. And heck, Namek is argued to be in another quadrant of the living world, aka the mortal realm, via the Gaiden Daizenshin. And Frieza's durability is arguably higher than his AP and destructive capability, as when Namek exploded on him, he was literally cut in half already by Goku, and on top of him having Namek exploded on him. And he was still able to survive when King Cole brought him on his ship. And when Frieza and King Cole gets to Earth, as he's Mecha Frieza now, he's stronger than when he fought Trunks before he got killed. His supernova was 10 times the energy he used to destroy Namek, and Trunks caught him with one hand makes fun of him for it. And Cooler scales above Frieza in his first form as he scales above his armored squadron, who are confident enough to take Goku on, and Base Goku was trading blows with Base Goku despite him losing the first round. And when Cooler transformed to his fifth form, oh boy. Cooler was absolutely dog walking the living hell out of Goku. And even when Goku used Kaioken times 20, which multiplies his strength and speed, all Cooler did was stand there and bliss his perception and body him many times, until Goku transformed to a Super Saiyan, which is post-Namek Saga. And when Cooler was getting dogged a bit with a couple hits, Cooler raised his finger to perform his supernova attack, which left Goku in Super Saiyan actually stunned and surprised. Had to power up and use his full power to deal with Cooler and his supernova to blast him into the sun, killing him. Or so we thought. In return of Cooler, he was somehow still alive even after that explosion, as a big Getty star found him, as his body is now attached to it. The big Getty star started out as a single computer chip that began absorbing mass amounts of energy around it, turning it into a giant machine, and Cooler's consciousness took control, becoming the cyborg known as Metacooler. Metacooler encounters Goku, which is within the middle of the Android saga. He was winning the fight with utter ease, and even with Vegeta, he was still holding his own when both Goku and Vegeta had to use their full power and work together as Super Saiyans. Metacooler was destroyed, but later found out that he was one of many clones, and these clones hold the same power as that same Metacooler, as they can range from thousands to even billions of them. And when Goku and Vegeta were captured, the Big Getty Star was said to hold an infinite amounts of energy and power. And Metacooler is powered by that same engine, as this gets Metacooler into the infinite 3D, aka high universal levels of power. And to back this up, Goku was able to defeat Cooler as well, as he filled the engine with infinite energy, and that was the true end of Cooler and his conquest. And both of you all say this is hyperbolic, universal statements in the Frieza saga already. I find he's a bit questionable, but still there nonetheless. Now it's time to go over his speed, as he's stronger and faster than Frieza, who is faster than his own ships, as he is also stronger and faster than Goku, who reacted to the asteroid, while holding onto a ship, which gets this around a staggering trillions of times the speed of light. And also add to the fact that Namek is arguably in another quadrant, which is filled with multiple galaxy-sized spaces, like I said earlier, and I dare mention the multipliers that I have yet or even need to add, which can get this even higher if I need be. And I can get Cooler faster than this, as Metacooler and his engine was said to have infinite levels of power. But in Dragon Ball, the stronger you are, the faster you are as well, as this can also get Cooler into those same infinite amounts of speed. And you thought I was done yet? Oh no! When Metacooler fought Super Saiyan Goku, Goku used his instant transmission. Cooler was somehow able to react and even arguably blitz Goku. Instant transmission is a space that transcends time and spells, putting this into the immeasurable amounts of speed, which is insane to think about. Now that I'm finished scaling both Berserker Titans, let's go over their hacks, and the easier character to start with is Garou, as Garou is skilled and has the styles and techniques of countless schools, and he can also copy techniques, and whatever he copies he's going to get better than what he already has. He copied an ability from Blast since he's able to make portal. He can also use the gravity knuckle, which can manipulate gravity just to a decent extent, but they are not that impressive at its form of teleportation, which we already see with a higher speed, as Saitama was also able to get through. Garou also emits cosmic radiation that just kills people over time before everyone went back in time. One of Garou's abilities is Heart Fist, which causes shockwaves and can also target the heart against bang, as it also negates durability as well. Also, for his copying ability, he must understand how the power works to copy it. And people will argue to say that Garou says that he'll copy Saitama limitlessly, but the problem with that statement is that Saitama was already getting stronger than Garou and eclipsed him immensely. Meanwhile, Cooler in his first movie in his base form or fourth form was already in those tier of strengths just by merely holding back. And speaking of Cooler, let's talk about the hacks he has in terms of skill. Cooler is already more skilled than anybody in One Punch Man, as even in OG Dragon Ball, they have the same level of skill if not higher. In Dragon Ball, there was a fighter who's at 30th degree in Kempo, which in the real world, it only gets to around 10 at best. In the Red Ribbon Arby saga, Roshi states that Kid Goku already surpassed him in terms of skill, not just power by the way. When Goku was first training with King Kai, 158 days of him is equivalent to around a few thousand years of training on Earth, which is insane. Goku even admits that Vegeta's hand-to-hand combat is already better than his, and Cooler is stronger than his brother who's stated to be a prodigy. Heck, they also copy techniques like Goku copying the Kamehameha in just a few seconds, and Tien also copied that same move, as they both saw it just once. And Cell is a perfect being in every way, as he sees something, replicates it even better. And if you want to say that Garou can control all matter and antimatter, the universe is literally Garou's only win con against Cooler, and even then, just killing one Meta Cooler won't bring him down, as he has to deal with a lot of Meta Coolers, and the big Getty Star can just absorb Cosmic Garou in its core, and end its life from there. And Cosmic Radiation definitely not work, because as Cooler not only survives in the vacuum of space like his brother Frieza, in his Meta Cooler state, radiation won't mean jack shit, so that won't work either. And copying Cooler is a death sentence to Garou as well, so that definitely won't work. Now to our verdict. I've gone over just about everything for both Berserker Titans. Who wins this fight? Drum roll please. What? The answer is obviously right in front of you since the very beginning of this video. Garou's best high-end wank scaling is around the multi-solar to galaxy range, while Cooler's mid-ends are already around the multi-solar to galactic ranges in the first movie already. Garou is fast into the 14 million faster than light ranges, while Cooler at the bare minimum is into the trillions if not far greater. And keep in mind that this is the first movie. The only way he'll win is through his useful abilities, but like I said, copying techniques won't do him any favors here. But the matter and antimatter manipulation properties are the only way of maybe getting the kill, but even then, Cooler is much faster than him. So landing the blow will be nearly impossible, and this is just his base form, mind you. And dare I mention Meta Cooler and even higher AP and speed metas I've shown for him, and a crap ton of hacks he has? Yeah, no. Cooler wins this battle with low difficulty.